Hello and welcome back to the Hats We Wear. I'm Beth Echefano, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Elaine Hughes, and she's going to talk about the hats she wears, the joys and struggles of those hats, and how she's overcome any struggles with the hats. So welcome, Elaine. Thank you for joining me.
Welcome. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's nice to meet you. So tell the listeners, what hats are you wearing right now?
Okay, so I'm a business owner. I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a carer. I've also been a carer for my parents in the past. So yeah, so I kind of wear different hats for different things.
So what hat would you like to talk about? I really want to get to a struggle that you found. Maybe it's juggling all the hats you're wearing, maybe it's one specific hat, but share one of those hats and the struggles that you've encountered and how you've overcome the struggles.
I think for me it's first of all, I have a physical disability. So caring with a disability is difficult and it's something we don't really talk about. A lot of people who are carers are also caring for somebody else. And it's quite difficult managing your own condition while sort of also managing, their condition or helping another person with their condition as well.
Yeah.
And as a society, we don't really think about it. We think, we don't usually think about that person actually having a condition themselves and looking so they could be they could be working full time saying and looking after somebody who's sick at home but still have an ailment or disability themselves. We don't really talk about that side of stuff, so I think that's something that we need to raise more awareness for.
That's beautiful. I'd love to raise awareness on that. Absolutely. So whatever you're comfortable sharing, share away. Like what struggles are you encountering or have you encountered, and how do you manage having that disability and caring for someone as
think,
well?
yeah, I think it's hard. Mentally it's draining, emotionally it's draining, physically it's draining because you've got to try and always put somebody else first. So you don't have a downtime. So you feel like you can't just switch off. And I've been through all the emotions of it, of knowing that, I have to be there for the people, but I can't quite be there for myself. So even taking off time for yourself, and as looking after kids and working and running my own business, you're juggling all these different scenarios, and yet there's no time for you. So I'm very
Yeah.
much about focusing your well-being. Where's the well-being for me? What we could do for me to rest and recuperate, and also mental health, and my mental well-being.
Yeah. So how do you find that you kind of fill up your cup? Because if you're empty, you can't help anybody else. So do you have a certain way that are you struggling with how to fill up that cup? Do you have a balance, or do you feel like, no, I don't have a balance and I need one?
There are times that I felt that there isn't a balance, but I think for me now, I try to make myself, do things for me. So whether it's go to the hairdressers or take time out or just have that few moments, go and sit in the garden. I know now say easier said than done, but sometimes you have to just really just make that effort to spend some time for you. Catch up with an old friend, go for a drink or meet somebody in the park. I mean, it's a case of if you don't make that time for yourself, then nobody will do it for you. You have to force yourself to do it because otherwise you just spiral into a case where you end up resenting the other person. I've
Mm.
had that in the past when I was caring for my parents, I resented them because I was always caring for them. I didn't have that time for myself. And I was like, no, I need time out. I need to go and spend time with my friends. I need to go to, go sit in the park, get my nails done, or get my hair done, just to have that downtime for me.
I have a question about that. So when you were caring for your parents and you started to resent them, do you feel like you could have made time for yourself, but you felt guilty or you just didn't want to? What do you think that was? Because I think that's a really important point that you made two really important points that I heard. The first one is you have to force yourself. If you don't feel like you want to, you need to force yourself to make that time for you. And second, I love that you said that you started to resent them because it was all about them and you weren't filling your own cup. So
Yeah,
when you were caring for your parents, do you feel like there was an opportunity if you had forced yourself to take time for yourself?
I think it's all the emotions that come with it. You want to be a good daughter.
Hmm.
At the same time, I had guilt because I had a young daughter at the time, so I felt guilty because I wasn't spending enough time with my daughter.
Okay.
I was trying to be a mom. I was trying to work. And you do have that resentment because I think to myself, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed, my parents were older. I'm not supposed to be here, but 30, 32 years of age, I'm not supposed to be looking after elderly parents. But it was a situation. They were ill. It wasn't their fault. They were ill. They just happened to be ill.
Yeah.
So you do have that level of resentment. But I found that when I started to force myself to take time out, and I started looking at, even if it's like going in the garden and just having a glass of wine, you
Yeah.
know, just switching off for 5 minutes or do some meditation or something. It's not their fault. I can't. I don't blame them. I never did blame. I just think these emotions. These emotions come bubble up, and there's nowhere
Yes.
to get them to because you've lost your. Because what happens is you have like a circle, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So what happens is your social life drops off, then your friends drop off because you can't meet your friends for drinks. You can't hang out with them. They've got young, your family. And it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So eventually, it's just you and them.
Hmm. Yes.
Right? And what do you do when you've got that little circle by yourself?
Yeah. And
And I think that's something that we have to be socially aware of. Is that
mhm.
when somebody is caring for somebody, what is their infrastructure around them? And I appreciate everyone's. We all have busy lives. We're all doing things. We've all got our own families. When you're a carer within a carer role, you know, you're down to one. You're going to work. You're coming home. You're caring for somebody. Or their kid. So who do you speak to?
Yeah, and I'm a mom of a severe special needs child, and I'm in a couple of groups of moms with special needs children. And the reason I wanted to highlight what you said is because that's what I'm hearing a lot from a lot of moms. I don't take any time for myself. I don't have anyone to watch my child. I don't. And what you just said, go out in the garden and have a cup of tea. You don't necessarily need to leave your home or invite people into your home. Or I think I think if it's really important, you find a way to do it. You
Yeah.
find some outlet. So I love everything that you're saying because
Also, there's a level of understanding because your friends don't always understand. Unless someone's been in your
Mhm.
situation, they understand. And I don't I've got physical disability, so I know. And if my mum side, she used to say the same thing. You feel outside it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Looking after a special needs child, I mean, is massively impacted. It impacts on
Yeah,
relationships,
it
impacts
does.
on family life. You can't do things. It prevents you from there's lots of intersectionality within it. And then on top of that, add the emotional stuff, and you know what I mean, and the financial, and you start to feel bogged down. Do you know what I'm saying? So even just like when my mum, when my parents were like, even stuff like of going to the hairdressers, it was like a military operation. Who's gonna sit with my mum? Who's
Yeah,
gonna wait? Okay, I've got to be at the hairdressers for this time. I've got to be out by this time because the carer that I've paid for can only wait a few hours. Do you know what I'm saying? They've got to get back, and you
right.
just constantly you're in overdrive in these kind of things. And
Yeah.
I think we as carers or whatever we do, we don't talk about it. We just kind of just shoulder it. Oh, we get on with it, and we don't tell our friends. And our friends don't understand. Even my brother, we would say the same thing that I hit for. We were talking about it, and there's this to what's it like having a disabled sister? And he said, my friends don't get it. He said they don't understand what it's like to have a disabled sister. So I say to them, he'll say to me, let's meet in town for a coffee, and it's just not possible. Because I've got to think, okay, do they have disabled access? Do they have parking? Can I get a wheelchair in there? And he's like, when he says that to his friends, they're like, oh, God, just meet her in town. He's like, no, it doesn't work like that. And just, yourself, it just doesn't work like that. We have to, and that's what I'm thinking. So there's lots of like nuances
Yeah,
around
it's
people
probably
just
really
taking.
frustrating having to I see it two ways. I see it as a gift and I see it as how it could be frustrating because you're educating other people like, no, it's not that easy. I need to make sure there's wheelchair access. I need to, and for your brother as well, to tell his friends, no, this is what my sister needs. So he's educating them, but at the same time, it's like, why do I have to educate you? I probably, like it's frustrating.
Exactly,
Like I shouldn't have
exactly,
to, but it's like a double-edged sword. So
exactly. This is it.
you're
So
getting the word out, through speaking about it, like what the limitations are. Like if I get invited with my daughter to go somewhere, I have to think, all right, what's the environment going to be like? Is she going to be super sensory overload? Is she going to not handle it well? I couldn't go to my stepdaughter's volleyball game yesterday because I'd already brought Hannah there and she flipped out. So I knew
yeah,
it was just too much for her. It was just too
okay.
much. So
Yeah.
you're right. There are things that we miss out on, but there are other things that we don't miss out on. So talk about what do you see as the gifts of who you are in what you have to say?
I think for me, it's the fact that I am very much a positive person. That
Mhm.
I'm always looking for the future. I think as from a disability perspective, I feel like I have so much to offer. I'm adaptable. I'm flexible. We always when you are living with a condition or disability, you have no choice but to be positive because
Mhm.
every day is a blessing. Not in the sense of like a religious blessing, just the fact that we have to adapt in so many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to
Yeah.
fit in a society that didn't fit us, and so we have to. So I'm always looking at the positives that okay, I could do this, and I always have like great mindset skills and I can think myself. I can think quite fast on my feet, and also I think how to get out of positions or how to do things. So I see myself as an asset to the world. So I'm very much about staying positive, and yes, I live with a condition, but this is what I can do. I'm not defined. I'm not defined my disability does not define me by that.
I love that you just said I'm an asset to the world. That is amazing because that is absolutely true. Every single person on this earth is an asset. Everyone has their own purpose. So I love that you said that. That's amazing. How do you juggle the work hat with the other hats that you have? How do you juggle that? Is there any hardship with that, with the working
Um,
and all that?
yeah, definitely. As someone who's been self-employed, it's definitely hard because you're constantly becoming the first. Do you know what I mean? In ways, there's not a lot of disabled entrepreneurs out there who are publicly showing what we do.
What
So
kind of
you
business, what kind of business do you run?
so I'm disability inclusion consultant. So I go into businesses and show them how being inclusive is actually profitable
Oh, that's amazing. Oh,
and
talk
take
about
away.
that some more. I love that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so basically I work with businesses. I work alongside my brother, and we have a company where we do theatre-based workshops where we actually go into companies and we teach them what it's like to be disabled or, various other situations about equity and equality. And we just help your business to show that being inclusive is actually quite profitable. And if they were, I mean, and just show them the advantages of actually being inclusive. So we run that together. Um, and that allows me to speak to so many different people. And you see the spark. It's not just like those who are physically disabled, it's those who are neurodiverse, it's still those who have got a hidden disability. And
Yeah.
we also show people with those conditions that because my goal is to get as many disabled people onto boardrooms as possible. I want to see boardrooms not the
Yeah.
traditional male white male. I want to see it mixed. I want to be diverse, and I want to see as many disabled people on there as possible. Promoting themselves and being seen because I think what we need is people who are disabled in senior level positions.
Amen, sister. Absolutely. Absolutely. How did you get into that? I mean, I know why you have a passion for it, but how did you start that business? And how did
Okay.
you, how did you start to get clients and all that? Talk about that because that's
Oh
amazing.
wow. So I started many years ago in e-commerce. I started when I got medically retired from my job. I started in e-commerce, and I used to be a cake maker. So I used to work with cake supplies and stuff like that. And I just kind of about 2 years ago decided I used to go to wedding events and stuff like that to showcase the work, I'd always get asked about how accessible it was and stuff like that. So I just thought, so I started advising these kind of restaurants and these hotels what things they can, and it's just kind of just blown, it just kind of just grew from there. So now I work with, primarily with hotels and hospitality sectors and luxury brands on how you, because disability should not just stop you from accessing, luxury brands, or you shouldn't stop you accessing hotels. And frankly, we're in a world where a lot of hotels and restaurants are just not accessible.
Mm. Wow. So have you seen a lot of positive impact as a result of going into these places and helping them?
Absolutely, absolutely. Definitely see it. I think a lot more. I think the world is finally waking up, and seeing, that disability, especially the inclusion, is actually quite positive, and it's actually some good things to come from it. So I see there's lots of things happening. Like Vogue recently, did a magazine spread with disabled models, which is like the first in history.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots of good things happening in the world that are changes, and now is the time for us to, instead of being an afterthought, we're now actually in a position where we can actually amplify our voices and get them heard.
Yeah, I love that too. You're saying a lot of great things right now. You're not an afterthought. It's everyone has to be involved in the conversation. So that's amazing. So how does your mother hat then interfere with your work hat?
Okay, so my daughter is neurodiverse. She has she has anxiety, so I kind of have to help her and keep her motivated. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's just like working around her and what she does, and helping her move forward with that. So it's kind of like keeping her calm, making things in place, helping with
Mm.
education, helping with work and stuff like that, and go from there. So yeah, that's kind of like how we're doing it.
How old is your daughter?
She's 23.
She's 20. Oh, I have a 24. My daughter just turned 24. She's
Okay.
yeah, she's neurodiverse as well. Yeah, it's a handful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard trying to
Yeah.
trying to navigate it, but you obviously you do the best that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
There's no parenting book out there that says that you're going to be the perfect parent to a child who's neurodiverse. There isn't. You just do the best that you can do with the skills that you can do, and help them to the best of the best of your ability.
And find the gift in it. That's what part of what my new path is with my business and this podcast and just connecting with people is just appreciating everything in my life and how it got me to where I am today, and
Yeah,
my daughter
definitely.
was a big part of that. She was the catalyst for everything. So, as tough as it is having a nonverbal child, with the, disabilities that she has, it's a gift at the same time.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
important to look at it both ways.
Exactly. Go on.
Speaking of, oh my gosh, that's funny. So do you find that, like, do you have a balance with the work? Like, is it, or do you have to go out every single day, or is
No,
your
luckily,
schedule like manageable?
yeah, no, luckily the work for me is I work from home most of the time. Only when we were actually doing the in-person stuff that we actually do the stuff. But otherwise,
Okay.
we just do it, we do it online. So lots of Zoom calls and stuff like that.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and then go, yeah, but it's manageable. I've basically created my diary around. So one thing that I do in my diary is the first thing that I put into my diary is me time. So
Good.
so when I plan my week on a Sunday afternoon, I slot in the me time section. You're saying, and throughout the week, so I have like an hour here, an hour there, just to rest, to recuperate, to meet friends,
Hmm.
and just to make, and then plan everything around it. So I try not to do any more than 2 meetings on Zoom a day,
Okay.
and then planning around that time, just to
Oh, okay.
give you that bit of freedom and so forth.
Yeah, that's smart. I'm still figuring out that balance.
Oh,
in my
yeah,
business.
no,
Yeah.
definitely if you get it done, definitely put your downtime in first and then work back.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm figuring all that out. I'm a former teacher. I taught for 17 years.
Okay.
So I know how to manage my time with the teaching, but now my own business, not so much.
Oh, bless you.
I'm
I'm happy
figuring
to
that
help.
out. It's a
I'm happy to
process,
help.
Elaine. It's a process.
It really is, but no, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about the hats? Is there any hat that you're looking to put on?
Oh
Anything
God.
new that you're like, oh, I want to try that?
I think for me, I like to be go to the next level.
And what is
So,
that? What is
so,
that
so,
next level?
so yeah, so next me is be move into like a seven figure bracket. I mean, that's what I think. I think we need again. I think we need more disabled people in the seven figure bracket to show people that it's possible.
Mhm.
More about possibilities and showing people the best way. So I think for me, that's definitely something that I want to look forward to, to doing is getting into that kind of bracket and showing to people that if I can do it, they can do it. They've just got to believe in themselves.
And just you think that getting into that bracket just from the business that you have, that's a
Yeah, absolutely.
possibility?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I think it's mind over matter. So I mean, so I think definitely for me, that's something that I'm working on for 2024, 2025.
That's amazing.
That
Do
ceiling.
you have a community that you connect with as well? Like if you're an advocate for people, or are you connecting with others in your specific
Yeah,
community?
there's a massive disabled community online that I like connect with as well.
Hmm.
But I try because I work with the brand that do I go to a lot of networking events. So if anyone wants to connect with me, you can catch me on LinkedIn. So it's just so my LinkedIn is Hughes Elaine M. So you can catch me on that on LinkedIn, and we do like audio rooms, and we talk about disability and inclusion and what it means and support on that level as well.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure I put you said Hughes Elaine M
Yeah,
in LinkedIn. Okay.
yeah.
I'll make sure that I mention that in the show notes too. So people, is there any place else people can find you if they want to
I'm
connect?
on, I'm
LinkedIn
also
the
on
best.
I'm also LinkedIn's probably the best as well to get me on LinkedIn. It's probably this LinkedIn. Yeah, the best way to get me.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to share with the listeners?
No, just keep going, stay positive.
Oh, I love that. Keep going, stay positive. Well, thank you so much, Elaine, for joining me today. I really enjoyed speaking with you and hearing your story. It's really inspirational. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for your time.
To the listeners, hopefully we'll catch you next time on an episode of The Hats We Wear. Everyone have a good day.